They fined me $1,000 for painting my door red, claiming it violated community standards. Karen, the HOA president, smirked as she dismissed my protests, confident in her power. What she didn't know: I had the proof to expose her lies, and when I was done, she'd regret ever challenging me. But let's start from the beginning. I'd just finished painting my front door a vibrant red, something I'd wanted to do for years. It was bold, modern, and gave my home personality. But just a day later, I found a letter in my mailbox from the HOA. Violation of community standards, unauthorized paint color, fine, $1,000. I couldn't believe it. Nowhere in the HOA rules was there any mention of approved door colors. I scanned the letter again, furious, as my neighbor, Karen McDowell, the HOA president, strutted past my house. "Red doesn't exactly fit the neighborhood aesthetic," she said with a smirk. Her tone dripped with condescension, and it was clear this wasn't about the door. It was about power. I tried reasoning with her. "The rules don't restrict door colors, Karen. This fine is completely unfounded." She waved her hand dismissively. "Feel free to file an appeal. Good luck with that," she said before walking away. Right then, I knew this was going to be a fight. Determined to prove Karen wrong, I dug through every HOA document I could find. Hours of searching confirmed what I already knew. There were no restrictions on door colors. But when I tried presenting this to the HOA board, Karen shut me down. "You must have missed the updated guidelines," she said with a sly smile. Updated guidelines? No notice of changes had ever been sent out. When I asked for proof, she dodged the question and suggested that I repaint the door to avoid further penalties. At this point, it wasn't just about the fine. It was about principle. I spoke to my neighbors, and to my surprise, several of them shared similar stories. Karen had been using her position to impose arbitrary rules and fines on those she didn't like. One neighbor, Mrs. Ellie, an elderly widow, revealed that Karen fined her $500 for planting roses in her front yard, claiming they were too bright. Another, Tom, said Karen had threatened to tow his car for parking in his own driveway. It was clear Karen's rules were nothing more than a way to bully and intimidate. Armed with testimonies from my neighbors and copies of the HOA's official rules, I filed a formal complaint against Karen. This prompted an emergency meeting with the HOA board. Karen, confident as ever, sat at the head of the table, dismissing my evidence before I even presented it. "This is all a misunderstanding," she said, smiling sweetly at the board. But when I showed video footage of Karen slipping letters into neighbors' mailboxes, letters she had no authority to send, her demeanor shifted. Her face reddened as the board members whispered among themselves. To seal the deal, I presented a copy of the HOA's official bylaws and compared it to Karen's so-called updates. The board was shocked to see that the rules Karen enforced were not only unofficial but outright fabricated. Karen stammered, trying to regain control. "This is just a clerical error," she claimed, but the damage was done. The board voted unanimously to revoke the fines and launch an investigation into Karen's actions. As it turned out, she had been pocketing the money from some of the fines she issued, using it for personal expenses. Karen was immediately removed as HOA president and ordered to repay every cent she had taken. Additionally, the HOA implemented a new system to ensure rule changes would require community approval. The best part? My red door stayed exactly as it was, a symbol of standing up to bullies and fighting for what's right. As for Karen, let's just say she doesn't walk through the neighborhood with her usual smugness anymore. For the first time in years, our community finally felt like home again.